What's going on, everybody? We back with the waiver wire. I'm Money Mike. I got StatPat right beside me, and the man of the hour is Marco Nunez from former head athletic trainer from the Los Angeles Lakers, and now he runs his own business. Evolve Athletic Performance, where he goes ahead and get everybody back in shape, and so. It's a crazy week this week, man, with these injuries as always.
Piling up.
This is why we need this show every week, because somebody always gets hurt.
Piling up.
So, Marco, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Sorry I can't be with you guys there live in studio, but I'm here, though.
Man, it's all good, man. You know, you out there on call, being where you got to be, so it's all good, right? StatPat, how are you?
I'm good, man. I like being on this show, dude. We're gonna do it tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So look, I actually dropped Russell Wilson because that dude scored like 8.9 points. Like
you ain't the only one.
Has a quarterback. I thought he was actually going to be good for Denver, but hey, he got hurt now. So let's talk for the ones that still believe in Russell Wilson. I don't anymore. What's going on with that right shoulder, Marco?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Russell Wilson, I mean, I don't blame you. I kind of bought into the whole hype during the offseason. I actually have in 3 leagues, and I kind of grab him in all 3 leagues as my quarterback, so I'm struggling right now. I'm ready to drop him everywhere to go. But bottom line, he sustained a right shoulder injury. They think that he might have injured what's called his latissimus dorsi muscle. The question is whether it's to the actual muscle or the tendon where it attached to the bone. Now, reports are that he actually did it week 4 against the Las Vegas Raiders, and he still decided to play because he felt he could play on Thursday against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, reports are that he went ahead and did what's called a PRP procedure, a platelet-rich plasma procedure, to try to create speed up the healing process, so to speak, in that area. If that does take, his shoulder should be feeling a lot better, the muscle should be feeling a lot better, type of thing. But if it doesn't, one of the issues he's going to have is obviously going to disrupt his throwing mechanics. So even if you guys have been to the gym and ever done that lat pull machine down that you kind of have to put down, that works that muscle here. Right. Now, muscle during the throwing phase, that's kind of like the last portion of it. So one of the issues he's going to have is throwing that long ball. So anything short or anything sidearm he's going to probably have to do, but anything long ball, that might affect some of his throwing mechanics if it continues to linger on for the next upcoming weeks. So if you have a receiver like, I think, Cortland Sutton, which is like kind of like that speedster, he may take a little bit of a hit, or any of the other receivers type of thing. So it's interesting. We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Maybe that's why he only had 8.9 points last game.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I can't do this, dude. He's holding up a roster spot for me.
Yeah.
And I'm in 4 leagues myself, and I'm losing in them. So in the one where I had Russell, I needed to pick up a receiver, running back.
Yeah, the one that I got. Yeah, it's funny that you said that. The league that I have Russell Wilson, I'm a quarterback. I'm losing in that too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
He's not worth. What do you think, though? Do you think that was a good decision for us to drop him, or you think we should try to hold on a little longer?
Personally, I'm trying to hold off 1 more week if I can. Now, unless there's another quarterback that's out there that it's going to be if he's reliable more than Russell Wilson, then by all means drop Russell Wilson, kind of grab him if for some reason. But if you're going to drop Russell Wilson for like Andy Dalton type of thing, I'd probably say hold on to Russell Wilson for maybe one more game and see how he pans out. If the PRP takes and the shoulder starts feeling better, hopefully we see vintage Russell Wilson out there. But I think that's one of the reasons why after the Las Vegas game, and especially this Thursday's game, if they would have reported that before, I would have expected him to have a poor game, because within the quick turnaround, it wouldn't give enough time for him to kind of heal or at least feel better.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move on. We got Tyreek Hill. Man, the Dolphins are going through it, man. But Tyreek Hill with the wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. He had injured his foot.
Correct.
What do you think about that?
They haven't really specified exactly what's going on as far as foot, but one of the downsides to it is that he did walk out or leave the arena or the stadium in a boot. Now that could be just a precautionary to make sure nothing else aggravates, but the fact that he's in a boot, meaning that that they don't want to put any weight on that or full weight bearing on that foot. So obviously you're gonna have to set him up for an MRI. MRI is going to most likely be done tomorrow, no later than Tuesday. So we should have a better idea as far as what's going on as far as the injury with Tyreek Hill. So for all you viewers, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at the Waiver Wire Podcast, where I'll go ahead and post some of the updates as they come along throughout the week.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk about Rashard Penny for the Seattle Seahawks. That tibia bone. That's your injury, huh?
So this is what they're suspecting, that he might have has a fracture in his tibia bone. And for all you hardcore Laker fans, if you guys remember Julius Randle, his rookie year, this is kind of what he sustained. He had the tibia fractured. I remember we had to kind of take him off. He ended up having surgery. Bottom line, he was out for the rest of the year, type of thing. This is what they're suspecting. They suspect that it was something serious as his part. If that is the case, he's going to probably have surgery required, and he's pretty much going to be out for the rest of the year. And in this case, it'll probably be the next man up as far as running backs for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're going to talk a little bit more about this in our second segment, but Bridgewater got a concussion. So now they have two players that have concussions in Miami. I think their problem ain't the quarterback, it's the offensive line. What do you think?
Either that or they're putting something in the Gatorade or something like that. That's so down over there. But apparently this injury, from my understanding, I think I was watching the game, occurred during the very first play of the game. He got pushed back. His head hit it back there. Now, the interesting part about this is that some of the reports out there, and I know this whole concussion thing, everybody's starting to speculate. There's reports from the NFLPA, and then everything's coming out. So supposedly, I think what I had read is that he had passed his concussion protocol or the concussion assessment, but then somebody saw him kind of trip and fall or stumble, and that immediately triggered, hey, you know what? All right, maybe he shouldn't go back. So they kept him off for precautionary reasons, type of thing. That's some of the reports I kind of read on that part, that they were kind of coming out there. But bottom line, he's been diagnosed with a concussion. He's been placed on the NFL concussion protocol. He's going to have to go through the whole entire procedure. So basically, his status for Week 6 is going to be up in the air right now. It's probably be questionable as long as he passes. Now, he does have enough time to pass the whole entire protocol. Usually, it averages anywhere between 5 to 7 days. So he should, as long as everything goes fine, there's a chance he could play on Sunday for Week 6.
Look, I mean, I know if I had anybody in Miami, I probably ain't gonna play them because they got that. I don't even know the guy's name. He was an undrafted free agent quarterback now.
Oh yeah, right now they're down to the third stringer. I don't know for the.
If StatPat don't know who the quarterback is, y'all stay away from all the wide receivers. All right, let's go ahead and get in. Talk about Darrell Williams with the Arizona Cardinals with the knee.
Yeah, so this is almost like a 1-2 punch here for the Arizona Cardinals. This is what you call it. You come with the left hook, and then the right one comes in right now. So both James Conner, their starting running back, and their backup running back, Darrell Williams, are questionable for the upcoming Week 6. So James Conner left the game with a rib contusion. Again, those rib contusions, which also known as a bruise to the ribs, can be very uncomfortable, as we saw a couple of weeks ago. Alvin Kamara had the same injuries. He was out for a little period of time. Justin Herbert also was out for a period of time, type of thing on the part. So James Conner's status for Week 6 is very, very questionable, if not borderline doubtful in this case. Darrell Williams, on the other hand, he left the game with a knee injury. They haven't really specified what the injury is. Again, they're going to probably have to do an MRI on Monday, and then they'll probably reveal as far as what's going on in the part. Once they give the report on the part, we'll be able to determine what kind of have a better idea as far as a timeline. But their number 1 and their number 2 running backs are pretty much out, most likely for Week 6.
Yeah, and that's so no good. And I'm the guy. Now it ain't my risk, but if I think there's a difference between being hurt and injured. I think Connor is just hurt, man. You know, can you put some pads on and what do you think?
Well, here's the thing about now for this one, I agree with you. Whenever you're in sports, is like you said, there's two types of things, like you mentioned. There's either being hurt or you're being injured. If you're injured, you have a fracture, you have an ACL tear. That even if you try to go out there and play, you can't play whatsoever. Being hurt is like, hey, maybe I have a first-degree ankle sprain. I tweaked my ankle. Can I move out there? Yeah, I could probably move and stuff like this. Now, the ribs is the interesting part about this, and like I said, I've had that. I've worked with athletes with rib injuries. Is that breathing itself creates discomfort. Anytime your ribs expand, it starts bugging you. You can't sneeze. If you sneeze, that it hurts. You can't laugh. You can't do anything that's sort. Rotating, sleeping, even you can't even sleep on that side. So I agree with you with most of the cases as far as Mike, but in this case, rib injuries it's one of those like small, lingering, very painful, uncomfortable issues.
Okay. All right. So I guess you can't get out there. So go ahead.
I say probably get if it's not that covered, you can get padded up. Now, in some cases, I know we talked about this, and this is what happened last year with Tyrod Taylor. Some teams you may take a little bit of get an injection there to kind of numb the pain and kind of it reduces discomfort, and then you kind of go out and play. So it just depends the level of the pain and how tolerable they can sustain it. Bottom line.
Well, I'm only trying to push him out there because James Conner's that's the only reason.
In that case, they shoot him up and get him out there.
Man, yeah, right. That's right. And let's talk about Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, so Dalton Schultz, I think he left the game with a knee injury. And this is the interesting part about it. I remember he sustained the initial injury about a couple of weeks ago. He had what's called a PCL sprain. PCL, posterior ligament, is the opposite of the ACL. I think we talked about this. The PCL injury that he has was very similar to what Ezekiel Elliott had last year, and he was able to play with it. So you can play with it. Surgery is very minimally required in this case. It's just a matter of how much discomfort you're in, how much swelling, how well you can move, type of thing. So I suspect that either probably had a little bit of not a setback, but some issues during the game, and they either pulled him out, and it's going to be a matter of waiting and see if he's even going to be available for next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. Let's go with the Patriots. We have Damian Harris with a hamstring. Do we know what grade it is yet?
They have not reported the grade of the hamstring type of thing, so just a matter of waiting and see. If it is a first-degree hamstring strain, most likely he'll probably be out 7 to 10 days. There's a very good chance he'll be out for week 6, but we can expect him back for week 7 if it's a first degree. If it's a second degree, then we're looking more towards like 2 to 4 weeks. He's going to probably be out for a couple of weeks on that part for a second-degree hamstring strain. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. Once they do the MRI, again, they'll do an MRI on Monday, no later than Tuesday. Well, I like to say they'll let us know what's going on, but being the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick out there, everybody's questionable.
Right. I mean, that's what I was going to say. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I really don't care about the Patriots. What about you, Pat?
Oh, no. I mean, you care about Stevenson. If you have him, in this case, I mean, if you got Harris and he's not going to miss some time, then Stevenson is going to be a big play going forward.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So that's your pickup?
Well, no, I mean, he should be already picked up. If he's not picked up, he should run right now against Stevenson.
All right, cool. All right, so let's talk about Pat Freiermuth. Freiermuth.
Yeah, I'm not even going to pronounce the last name, but yeah, I agree with you. He's a tight end with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He left the game, was diagnosed with a concussion, so he's going to go NFL concussion protocol. Same thing. Most athletes' minimum time as far as in the concussion protocol is anywhere between 5 to 7 days. So we'll see how symptomatic he is and see how he progresses throughout the week. And then so he can potentially play as early as week 6, but it's just a matter of waiting, seeing either if he participates if he gets cleared by Thursday or Friday, or no later than Friday.
Yeah, we got to see if he's able to remember everything. But Pittsburgh not doing well at all. No, so he may just been like, "Hey, I'm out. I can remember." Anyway, hey, we're gonna come right back with injury updates from the week before, and we are going to have a waiver wire pickups right after these messages. Hold on tight. We'll be right back with you guys.
Hi, I'm Renee Starms of the Starms Agency. Do you know why 97% of startups fail? It's because they don't have the proper exposure. So for the first time ever, Infanity Studios and the Starms Agency have come together to provide you with the Little Guys Big Marketing Package. Now, this is for local Los Angeles businesses who are ready to launch, relaunch, or simply expose their business to grow. With this package, you're going to receive 6 months of online and offline marketing tactics in a customized plan for your business. You're also going to get a professional TV quality commercial filmed in an 1,800 square foot studio with multiple screening options. So if you're ready to grow, go ahead and click that link. We also have financing available. I'm looking forward to chat with you. Click the link and let's go.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. So yeah, we got to go over these injury updates. Man, this guy right now has been a real big disappointment for me all year because I actually had a number 1 draft pick and he was my number 1 draft pick. And he's been really sucking. So, but let's talk about him. Jonathan Taylor, he had that Cinderella season, man. And then now he's just ain't doing nothing. But anyway, he was out with an ankle injury. Is he gonna be back next year to come back to be the last season form?
So he left last week, week 4's game with an ankle sprain. He didn't practice at all this past week, so he was pretty much already deemed out for week 5. So it's just a matter of waiting and see how he does for this upcoming week, whether he returns to the practice field. But as far as Jonathan Taylor, I don't blame you. I also had him as my number 1 pick for I think in our league. And to be honest with you, I'm done with him. I decided to trade him away. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, you trade him? Who you trade him to?
Huh?
Who you trade him to?
I traded him to Big Baby.
Oh, okay, Big Baby. Big Baby got Jonathan Taylor. That's his problem now, huh?
That's his problem.
All right, let's go. Treylon Burke, wide receiver. What's going on with him?
Yeah, so Treylon Burks, wide receiver with the Tennessee Titans, got injured in week 4. He left week 4 with what they refer to as a turf toe injury. Now, he's been officially placed on the IR. So when you're on the IR, you're actually automatically out for 4 weeks. So he's going to be out. He won't be able to return until 5, 6, 7, 8, till potentially week 8 or week 9 type of thing. Now, turf toe for running backs and receivers can be very, very uncomfortable and very nagging. When you push off, when you're sprinting, when you're running, your toe kind of is one of the last one that kind of pushes off. That can become very comfortable. Julio Jones had this injury, I believe, last year, and he was out for almost six weeks, type of thing, close to 8 weeks last year. So it can be uncomfortable. So it's just a matter of waiting and see how he does when he returns.
All right. Well, let's get into a little bit more of a detail. We got Tua. We got Tua from the quarterback. From Miami. It's really interesting what's been going on, Marco. Let's talk about it for a minute. This whole concussion protocol thing, because I thought it was really interesting that the whole situation where they fired the independent neurologist, because apparently they said that at the time, like, he didn't do what he was supposed to do, even though he wasn't, quote unquote, put into the concussion protocol. Then they did an investigation and they found that everything that Miami did was correct in what they're doing, but this guy still ain't got no job. So let's get more into that and saying, like, because here's the thing, in my opinion, about it, and I'll ask you about it too, Pat, is if Tua would have gotten hurt this week versus last week, and this never would have been a conversation, right? So I think it's just kind of like luck of the draw. He was out there, you know. I think they do everything right, or they did everything according to the protocol. What do you think?
Oh, well. First of all, the thing is, it was a short week, so that's where I was having a little issue with it. I mean, even if he like could have went to Sunday, maybe it was better. I think Thursday was way too soon for him to be out there, and so that's where I think the effects of that, he wasn't past the effects of that concussion, and so.
But again, they didn't put him under the concussion protocol.
Well, of course they didn't. But they've been saying that right now. So I mean, at this point, we're taking this backstory to the grave. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, there's nothing else we could do about it. We got to ride this all the way because we cannot admit any guilt. We can't admit that the ramifications to know that they did not handle this player with care and was that negligent is grave for the NFL. And there's no way the NFL is good. That's why they made the NFLPA, the Players Association, came out with some new rules, and they said we would like these implemented before the games on Sunday, and they said you got it. No questions asked. So they're in hot water right now.
So Marco, though, let me ask you though, how thorough do you think this investigation was?
Compared to like the back in the days when you had to take a physical and the doctor just scratched turn off 2 times, like you're ready to roll type of thing.
Yeah, right. Like how thorough? I mean, this investigation, I've never seen an investigation go that quick to the point where they investigated and closed it before. I mean, they worked really hard for 5 days. I'm telling you, Monday through Friday, right?
I mean, StatPat is right on this type of thing. I mean, it's one thing that the league itself, the NFLPA, the Miami Dolphins, everybody's kind of backpedaling, and they're covering. Part of my friends are covering their behinds and kind of make sure that it doesn't explode in anybody's face, type of thing. It was kind of interesting, and you're right, Money Mike. It's kind of interesting that they came out and saying that the protocol for Tua everything was correct, but yet a week ago they said that they fired the neurologist that did the exam because they felt that he did it incorrectly. But then also the NFL came out and said that they are implementing 2 new rules to try to correct the correct protocol that they had implemented. So how are you adding 2 new rules to something that was already correct? Right. Now you're type of thing. So it's something. But I guess if you want to have a silver lining to this, it's something that I guess it's finally making the NFLPA and the NFL kind of aware, hey, you know what, concussions are back on the table. It's real. It's there. We got to kind of manage it correctly, type of thing. So even it was kind of funny because even on last week, week 4, all of a sudden everybody and anybody had a concussion. Like all of a sudden, if they got hit in the helmet, concussion. Tyler Taylor had a concussion. Ryan Horner concussion. Everybody started. You had all these players kind of categorized concussion. Now, StatPat is also correct that usually the NFL concussion protocol, and even in the NBA concussion protocol, if you go in it, you're in there for a minimum of 5 to 7 days. Okay, so if Tua would have been in the concussion protocol that Sunday from week 3, there's no way he would have been able to play Thursday. Now, can you say that was taken into consideration as far as him not being diagnosed with a concussion? Only people behind the scenes kind of know that type of thing. But that was kind of the speculation, what people were kind of insinuating, that maybe that's one of the reasons why. Because if he would have gone into the concussion protocol, he wouldn't have been able to. There wasn't enough time for him to play Thursday. Put it that way, out of it. Yeah. If it was Sunday, then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just really crazy because if I'm the neurologist that got fired after they proved I did my job, then y'all need to be hiring me back. I mean, he's still without a job. And he's the guy that was overseeing Tua. So now he has, he's
like, so you're saying I did everything
on his
right.
reputation.
So just so we're clear, I did everything
right. You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy that got fired for no reason. Are you gonna hire me back?
But
I'm just asking.
The interesting part about this also is that I tried looking for the guy's name, and it's difficult to find.
Well, maybe that's how they're gonna protect him, because he'll just go around and he just won't put that on his resume. They'll be good to go.
Correct.
So, all right, and let's go. Let's go ahead and talk about Keenan Allen, man. The Chargers barely squeaked by, so looks like they're gonna need Keenan.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Keenan Allen had this hamstring injury. He sustained it week 1. Now we're in week 5, and I remember initially they were like, hey, it's something very minor. We're not worried about it. He didn't play week 2 because obviously week 2 they had a Thursday night game, which was a quick turnaround. I would have been very surprised if he would have played. I was hoping and expecting him to be back by week 3, if not no later than week 4. Now, I think earlier this week he was out there on the field, and there was reports that midway practice he actually started walking off the field and left the field with one of their athletic trainers, which kind of led everybody believe that he probably he ended up having a little bit of a setback. I think the head coach came out and said, no, he doesn't have a setback, but then he did not play week 5, which that tells me that unfortunately he probably had a setback. Now, hamstring injuries are very tricky, especially for receivers and running backs, because that's the muscle that allows you to explode and move. So at this point, I have to suspect that, he had a significant setback. So he's going to probably be, we'll wait to see how he does for the upcoming week. Hopefully the injury wasn't more beyond than a setback, and it's just something that now he's back on track, and hopefully he returns. I'd be surprised if he comes back week 6. I'm hoping he'll be back by week 7.
Yeah, well, we definitely got to see, but he definitely, in your opinion, I mean, and I know we can't quote you, he must have at least a grade 2 hamstring becoming with these types of issues.
Correct. I mean, the fact that he wasn't going to be able to go back on the field until week 4, that tells us that he probably has significant hamstring strains, which it's indicative that it's probably more of a grade 2 hamstring versus a grade 1. A grade 1, he would have been back by week 3.
Right. All right, yeah, we're running out of time, but look, I gotta, I see this name, this quarterback for the Cowboys, man. I think he lost his job. I mean, I don't know if he's going to
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to Dak Prescott, this quarterback from the Cowboys. I mean, there's a guy named Cooper Rush that is 5-0 right now, and they beat the Super Bowl champions today. Dak Prescott is let's talk about his injury, and then the second question is he getting remote mode right now?
It depends. I mean, with all those $1 million they just gave him for his contract last year, the question is, will Jerry Jones be willing to sit him out and have Cooper Rush? Now, the one thing about Cooper Rush, here's the truth. Cooper Rush, to me, he's not a great, like a top tier quarterback, but at the same time, he's one of the quarterbacks that's not making mistakes. He's just out there, throws the ball when Nunez does too, doesn't do any dumb mistakes. He just kind of does his thing, stays in line, and allows other people to kind of do what they need to do, type of thing. So the question is, do you want a quarterback like that, or do you want a quarterback like Dak Prescott that's going to maybe take a little bit of risk, throw a little picks here and there, maybe fumble the ball here and there because he's trying to do a little too much? I don't know. Plus, he's getting paid all these millions of dollars, so we'll see. At this point, like Jerry Jones says, there's going to be a quarterback controversy.
Yeah, I mean, that dude's 4-0. And I think and Dak is 0-1.
Correct.
But he should be able to come back or be healthy within the next 2 weeks, right?
Okay. Should already be throwing out there. We're looking at him returning maybe week 6, if not for sure by week 7.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Real quick, Jahan Dotson. I kind of had him on my league. He's hurt though. Hamstring. What are we thinking?
So they really haven't said if it's a grade 1, grade 2. So expecting he was out. We'll see how he does throughout the week. If he starts participating with the team, if he's a full go by Thursday or Friday, he should be back by week 6. If he's limited or he's not even on the field with the team, then he should probably be out and won't return to week 7 or week 8.
All right. Kyle Pitts and Cordell Patterson of the Falcons. Cordell Patterson mainly. He's in someone I have in my league. What do we think? He's going to be back soon?
So he was placed on IR, so he's not going to be back for another 4 weeks. He had a knee procedure. They haven't really said what it was. I know prior to having that procedure during week 4, he was kind of questionable to even play in week 4. It was a game time. I think he was having some knee issues, type of thing. So he's on IR, so he's out for at least 4 weeks. So 5, 6, 7. So he's not going to be able to return to as early until like week 8 or week 9.
Oh man, it's all bad. You know, this is why. You know, I don't know how we can anticipate. We got to start looking at the offensive lines better, man. You know, because I need to win some fantasy football games. Hey, so you know, we short time real quick, but I want to go StatPat. Do you have a waiver wire pickup? Who you think it should be a good pickup?
I'm looking at Jacoby Myers from New England. He's a good pickup right now. He actually balled out today in that win against the Detroit Lions. I think they have something cooking with that. So I would say look for him. If he's available, go ahead and try to pick him up.
All right, Marco, what about you?
So for me, it's probably the most obvious one is Kenneth Walker, running back with the Seattle Seahawks. If Rashard Penny does have that tibia fracture and he is going to require surgery, so he's going to be out for the rest of the year. Kenneth Walker actually came in today. He ran for 88 yards, got a touchdown, so you can expect him to be the workhorse for the Seattle Seahawks for the remaining of the season.
All right, cool. Yeah, so you know what? Speaking of, I'm going to stay on the Seahawks too, and I'm going to pick Geno Smith. Geno Smith actually really has been balling all year, but you just expect Geno Smith to become Geno Smith, and he hasn't done it yet. And so, you know, if there's if you have the issue like me, you drop a quarterback, you need pick somebody up, like because buys about to come up in the next couple of weeks. I would go ahead and stash Geno Smith simply because he's on 35% of all rosters.
He's available.
I mean. Well, Money Mike, I agree with you. I'm going to be like the real Seattle Seahawks, and I'm going to drop Russell Wilson right now and pick up Geno Smith.
There you go.
All right. Hey, you know what? This has been great. You know, Marco, thank you very much. Hey, I want you guys to tune in. Follow us on our Instagram podcast. Instagram, Waiver Wire Pod on Instagram for updates throughout the week. Also follow us on Twitter and TikTok. We'll post all the injury updates on there. With that being said, for StatPat, Marco Nunez, Money Mike, thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week for the Waiver Wire.